Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Fantasy Fellow Show. I'm your host, the fellow KGB. Today, we're starting off the 32 teams fantasy preview series with the Buffalo Bills. I'm going to be doing the AFC East first tonight. I'm going to knock out those 4 videos and have those uploaded for you shortly. And then the next few days, I'm going to upload the NFC East. But this one today is all about the Buffalo Bills. And I have a link in the description below if you want to check out the team tab that I have on the fantasyfellowship.com. So if you go to the fantasyfellowship.com, you can either hover over the 2021 content and hit team pages, or you can just kind of go to the teams pull down here and then just select whatever team you're looking for. And the way that I set this up is basically I care about I care about the depth chart. I care about the coaching staff. I care who's new. We care about, drafted players, UDFAs, things like that. So this is kind of just a snapshot of where the current team is at. So for here, we're looking at head coach Sean McDermott. He's been there for a few years. Same with Brian Daboll and Leslie Frazier. So we like the continuity that Buffalo has on their offense. They were a pretty damn good offense last year, so we expect them to be the same. And then as you see, I'm going to list out the depth chart here with the blue players being drafted. Green equals UDFAs. So they didn't really do too much to address the offense this year. Of course, quarterback by Josh Allen. They did sign Mitchell Trubisky. They still have Jake Fromm and Davis Webb there to back it up, but it's all about Josh Allen with this Buffalo Bills offense. The running backs, they didn't draft anybody. They didn't bring in any UDFAs. So this is interesting. They're going to roll with Devin Singletary and Zach Moss for another season here. Hopefully they both can stay healthy. They did sign Matt Breida here, so we'll be interested to see how he works into the offense. Didn't really do much in Miami after they traded for him last year, but Matt Breida might work into some passing game roles. Who knows? We'll see. And if Singletary or Moss go down, we might be interested in Matt Breida. He's still got the fullback Reggie Gilliam there. He kind of operates as like a tight end, pass catching fullback. And then the wide receivers. Before I get to this, I guess I'm just going to go down and show you guys the rest of the team page, and then we'll kind of talk about the receivers and the tight ends here. But if you keep scrolling down, you're going to find the draft class here. I show which round, which pick these players were taken in. You can see the position that they were drafted in. So Greg Russo, he was the 4th defensive end off the board. So you kind of just see it that way. And they had a decent draft, a little heavy defense in the beginning here to get that pass rush rolling here, bolster the offensive line here with a couple guys that I like quite a bit. And then Marquez Stevenson was added to the wide receiver room. And then you're looking at Damar Hamlin, Rashad Wild Goose, and Jack Anderson to finish off the draft here. So interesting draft class for Buffalo. We'll get to that in a second here. But then you scroll down, you're going to see the notable additions. And where basically I'll show you guys the links where I got all this information as well. But notable additions for the Buffalo Bills this year: wide receiver Emmanuel Sanders, Bobby Hart, Jacob Hollister, tight end, Forrest Lamp, and then, of course, Mitchell Trubisky. Key departures for this season are wide receiver John Brown, Quentin Jefferson, Tyler Kroft, he was a solid, run blocking, pass blocking tight end. He might be missed a little bit. And then offensive guard Brian Winters. You can also see the 2020 draft class. And then I do have some links here, but I just want to show you guys. I use Spot Track here to look at the free agency. You can kind of just hover over the NFL tab here. And then you just go ahead and click on your team. And then over here on the right is going to be your free agents tab. So, of course, gaining Emmanuel Sanders is pretty nice here. They did lose Andre Roberts. They got a new punter back here from Miami. He's been a pretty big piece of what Miami's done, and they signed him to a 3-year deal. So that's interesting. They lost John Brown and Quentin Jefferson to Las Vegas. Added Trubisky, lost Tyler Kroft. So that's kind of just a recap of the main pieces that I thought were useful here. And then just looking at you can also, there's a really good depth chart website that I use to compile these, and that's going to be called OurLads.com. And you just go to their depth charts here, and they have a really nice system here too. You can see all the depth for both sides of the ball. For me, I primarily care about the fantasy positions. So that's why I only show the quarterbacks, running backs, and the tight ends. So just looking at this, how do we feel about Buffalo this year? We should love Josh Allen. He should be like the 2nd or 3rd quarterback off the board, I would assume, maybe behind Mahomes, maybe Kyler Murray. So he's looking at a top 3, top 5 season for sure, as long as he stays healthy. Devin Singletary, Zach Moss, I'm not sure how we feel about them yet. We'll talk about them in a bit. The wide receivers, though, Stephon Diggs, Gabe Davis, Cole Beasley, and then you're going to add in Emmanuel Sanders. I could have listed Sanders here as the 4th receiver. I just worry about him kind of being more of a role player. I think they really like Gabriel Davis. He had a hell of a season last year as a rookie. Cole Beasley caught a ton of passes as well. And then, of course, Stephon Diggs was probably the most exciting receiver that you could have gotten in the late rounds last year. So I love Diggs. I think he's worth a second-round pick. Gabriel Davis has been one of my favorite picks in best ball leagues. And then Cole Beasley is also going to offer some high PPR floor for us in the later rounds here. But I still don't know if I'm drafting Emmanuel Sanders. We'll see how he works into the offense here. They have a couple guys returning, Isaiah McKenzie, who I like quite a bit. Jake Kumro should make the team. But adding a sixth-round receiver, Marquez Stevenson, that's going to be the guy that we're going to want to watch in the preseason this year. And then the tight end room, they have Dawson Knox, Tommy Sweeney. I'm interested in Jacob Hollister if anything happens to Knox, but I think this is clearly Dawson Knox's room. So as far as guys I'm interested in drafting, of course, it's Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs. Those guys are no-brainers. I think I like Gabriel Davis. And then I'll kind of pull you guys over here to my projections tab. So I don't have this out yet. I'm kind of working on the early numbers for these projections. But I should have something out for you guys in the coming weeks here. At this moment right now, I'm just getting my baseline numbers in, and then from here, I start to tinker and kind of whittle them away. So with 17 games this year compared to 16, and numbers are a little bit inflated. This is how I like to start my projections here. So I have the last 4 seasons. You can see those here, 2020 through 2017. This helps me with my averages, especially when I'm looking at a coach and an offensive coordinator who have been together quite a bit. Last year, we saw Buffalo throw the ball almost 600 times. You add an extra game into there, I have them up at about 630 passing attempts. We'll see there. I would expect Josh Allen to kind of stay similar to what he did as far as passing numbers last year, especially in terms of the completion percentage with a guy like Stephon Diggs, Cole Beasley. Those are quick, easy completions. Adding Emmanuel Sanders should only make him a better quarterback as well. So I do have Josh Allen doing similar things as to last year. Touchdowns are going to probably come down a little bit. He threw 37 last year. I have him down at 33 so far. But the rushing numbers, we know we can bank on those. And he just needs to watch his turnovers with those fumbles and the interceptions. So as long as he limits those, we should really like Josh Allen this year. And then again, here's the running backs. I'm still not sure what to do with these guys. I think they're beginning to sour on Devin Singletary. He kind of crumbled towards the end of the year last year. Zach Moss was dinged up. They couldn't get him as much work as they wanted to. But Zach Moss did rush 4 touchdowns as a rookie. I have him. I'm open to him getting 6 or 7 touchdowns this year, so I do like him. If I had to pick one, I'm probably going to go Zach Moss. But in PPR leagues, I mean, Devin Singletary caught 38 passes last year on 50 targets. So he was the primary pass catcher. We'll see if Zach Moss takes another leap in year 2. I have that number between the receptions between them two getting a little bit closer. So we'll see what happens. But as far as Buffalo Bills running back, I don't know if we need one on our roster this year for fantasy football. If you can get Zach Moss late, I'm open to it. If you can get Singletary late and cheap, I'm open to it. But they're not guys that I'm exactly trying to get onto my rosters. And then the receivers, man, Stephon Diggs, Cole Beasley, Gabe Davis, John Brown, a really good year for all 4 of these guys last year. When John Brown was healthy, he was a pretty good, stat producer here. But the guy to keep an eye on is Gabe Davis. As a rookie, he caught almost 600 yards, 7 touchdowns, 35 receptions on 62 targets. He's going to be getting a bigger workload. I would imagine he's going to be the starting outside receiver. You're going to have Stephon Diggs kind of doing things throughout the field and Cole Beasley in the slot. And then they're going to probably work Emmanuel Sanders in. And I also think Sanders is kind of Cole Beasley insurance. They really like Gabe Davis, and I think you guys should too this season, especially if he's catching, more than 7-8 touchdowns again. So at the moment right now, I have Gabe Davis at around 47 catches, 735 yards, and 8 touchdowns. I like him quite a bit, and I think Josh Allen recognizes that he can go up and get it, and he will throw him those 50-50 balls. So for receivers, man, Stephon Diggs, he's a second-round talent. Cole Beasley, we'll draft him later. If you need somebody in PPR leagues, that's fine. And then Gabe Davis is probably the one guy that I'm willing to snag on the end of my rosters and just get him on my bench, see what happens. I could see him having a really nice year. And then for tight ends, I really want Dawson Knox to be a factor, but I don't see him as any more than a tight end too. So that's just kind of where my numbers are telling me to go right now. We'll be watching a lot of these young players like Gabe Davis, Marquez Stevenson. We'll see about the tight ends, and I'm hoping to hear more good news about Zach Moss or Devin Singletary this summer, because it would be nice to have a Buffalo running back be productive for us. But I think I pretty much hit all the topic points that I wanted to talk about. So I'm going to try. The way I'm doing this is I'm trying to just put out maybe a 10 to 12 minute video on each team, show you guys the team pages and what I'm kind of working with here. So you guys can go ahead and soak that up on the fantasyfellowship.com. If you have any questions below, feel free to leave a comment. Otherwise, I have a question. Who are you guys drafting or wanting to draft from the Buffalo Bills this year? Are you on the Singletary or the Zach Moss side? I'm open to any of those kind of topics of conversation. So I'm really excited for Buffalo. They should be, they're going to be right back up there with the Kansas City and the Cleveland Browns in the AFC this year. So I do expect them to have a really good season. 11-12 wins seems really doable, and it should be a really good fantasy football year for the Buffalo Bills. So that's it for this one. We'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks. Peace.